All right, we do have breaking news. We are getting reports of explosions in Doha, the capital of Qatar.
The Prime Minister of Qatar is in Washington this morning to discuss the Israeli attack on Hamas leaders who are in exile in his country. Israel gave the U.S. almost no warning of Tuesday's attack, which has put the Trump administration in a difficult position.
Since the beginning of its genocide in Gaza, Israel has attacked Iran, Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Yemen, Tunisia, and now Qatar.
Imagine sitting in a quiet cafe in Doha, Qatar. Hum of the city is steady traffic passing, shop doors swinging, families enjoying the afternoon air. Suddenly, without warning, the silence shatters. A precision strike tears through the sky and smashes into a single residential building, leaving everything around it untouched. The question isn't just what happened, but how on earth Israeli fighter jets, thousands of miles away, managed to reach the heart of Qatar and execute one of the most daring assassination attempts in modern Middle Eastern history. For decades, Israel has cultivated a reputation for striking enemies with precision and secrecy. But this event, an alleged Israeli Air Force operation deep inside to raised eyebrows across the globe. It wasn't Gaza. It wasn't Lebanon. It wasn't even in Israel's immediate neighborhood. This was a bold move into a Gulf state that prides itself on neutrality and diplomacy, one that openly hosts Palestinian leaders while maintaining ties with the West. The strike targeted a building in Doha's Qatar district, a seemingly ordinary area dotted with apartment blocks and a nearby petrol station. Yet inside one of those buildings, intelligence suggested senior Palestinian negotiators were meeting. Surveillance had noticed something odd for weeks. The Amiri Guard, Qatar's elite protective unit, had been circling the building 24/7. That kind of security wasn't for just anyone. It hinted that high-value political figures were inside. So, when the precision-guided weapons fell, they hit only the middle building of the row, leaving the petrol station and neighboring structures untouched. It was a surgical strike, designed to eliminate specific individuals while avoiding broader chaos. But to pull off something like this, Israel needed far more than luck. The web of intelligence. To identify the right moment and the right building, Israel likely employed a multi-layered intelligence strategy. Human sources humaned. Agents or informants embedded in Doha could have reported on the movements of Palestinian officials. Signals intelligence, SIGINT. Intercepting phone calls, encrypted chats, or even tracking electronic devices provided real-time data. Satellite and aerial surveillance. High-resolution imaging could confirm patterns when guards arrived, when lights turned on, when convoys entered the building. Cyber espionage. Israel is known for its advanced cyber tools, capable of hacking communications systems and extracting critical timing details. Piecing these strands together allowed Israel to confirm not only where the leaders were, but also when they would gather. Timing was everything, because even the most advanced bomb is useless if the target isn't inside when it hits. A flight beyond limits. Here lies the technical marvel. Doha is over 1,200 miles, 2,000 kilometers. From Israel, that's well beyond the typical combat radius of fully loaded fighter jets. So how did they manage? The answer? Mid-air refueling. Reports suggest about 15 Israeli aircraft were part of the mission, including F-35 stealth jets and F-16 or F-15 fighters for support. They couldn't simply take off, strike, and return. Their fuel tanks would run dry long before reaching Doha. Instead, they rendezvoused with Boeing 707 aerial refueling tankers mid-flight. Think about the coordination here. Several aircraft flying in tight formation, secretly linking with tankers thousands of feet above international waters, all while avoiding radar detection. They refueled discreetly both on the way to Doha and again on their return journey, extending their range and giving them time to loiter over Qatari skies if needed. This ability to project power so far from home explains why Israeli jets, especially the F-35, remain one of the most feared assets in the region. Stealth above Doha. When the formation finally reached Qatari airspace around 3 o'clock to 4 p.m. local time, it was the stealth technology of the F-35 that made the impossible possible. Qatar has modern air defense systems, but stealth aircraft are designed to confuse or evade radar detection, flying low, using electronic countermeasures, and masking their presence. The Israeli jets slipped through undetected. The strike itself lasted only minutes. Within seconds, over 10 precision-guided munitions rained down simultaneously, slamming into the designated building. The choice of weapons remains debated. Possibilities include American-made GPS-guided bombs, laser-guided systems, or rampage missiles. Regardless of the type, the effect was devastating. And then, just as quickly as they arrived, the jets disengaged, refueled once more with waiting tankers, and vanished back into the skies. Why didn't Qatar respond? Many asked, why didn't Qatar intercept the aircraft? Why no air defense engagement? The answer lies in the element of surprise and the aircraft chosen. The F-35's stealth profile means that by the time radar systems notice an incoming threat, it's already too late. Supporting F-16s and F-15s likely circled the area, prepared to intercept any unexpected aircraft, while reconnaissance planes fed intelligence back to the strike team. In other words, Qatar had no real chance to respond in time. The operation was too fast, too precise, and too cloaked in secrecy. Echoes of the past. This wasn't Israel's first high-risk strike. Analysts compare it to earlier missions where Israel used extraordinary force to eliminate high-value targets. For instance, in one case, Israeli jets dropped nearly 80 bombs on a multi-story complex in Beirut to kill a single individual hiding in the basement. That operation relied on a mix of intelligence tip-offs, ground agents marking targets with lasers, and years of intercepted communications. The parallels are striking. Intelligence-driven operations, overwhelming precision firepower, and a willingness to cross borders no matter how politically sensitive to achieve their goal. Engineering the perfect strike. Behind all this is not just strategy, but also cutting-edge weapon engineering. Bunker buster bombs, GPS-guided systems, and glide weapons like the GBU-39 are all part of Israel's arsenal. These bombs can punch through reinforced concrete, navigate with pinpoint accuracy, and detonate only after penetrating underground structures. For the Doha strike, the choice of weapons emphasized accuracy over raw destruction. The Israelis didn't want to level a neighborhood. They wanted one building, one set of rooms, one meeting. And that is exactly what they achieved. The world was left stunned. In less than 5 hours, Israeli jets had crossed thousands of kilometers, slipped past modern air defenses, and struck with surgical precision in one of the most heavily guarded parts of Doha. But this was only the beginning, because the Doha strike wasn't just about one operation. It was part of a broader playbook Israel has used across the Middle East. In the next chapter, we'll dive into how Israel has refined these tactics, exploring previous operations in Beirut and beyond, and the devastating engineering behind the weapons that make such missions possible. Every strike has a story. The Doha operation was daring, but it was not unique. To understand how Israel reached the point of striking deep into Qatar, you must look at the shadowy trail of earlier operations missions, where intelligence, engineering, and ruthless precision merged into lethal choreography. Beirut, the six-story mystery. Let's rewind to Beirut, Lebanon, a city all too familiar with Israeli air raids. In one neighborhood, a six-story residential block stood quietly under the Mediterranean sun. On the surface, it looked like an ordinary building, solar panels on the roof, children playing nearby. But beneath its foundations, whispers told of a hidden network of tunnels, escape routes, and meeting chambers for Hezbollah's leadership. In this building, Israel believed a high-value figure. Hezbollah's leader was meeting allies. The challenge? He was hidden underground, shielded by layers of concrete and secrecy. Taking him out would require more than a lucky strike. It would demand overwhelming firepower and intelligence of the highest caliber. 3 possible scenarios. Analysts piece together how Israel may have pulled it off. 3 scenarios emerge. The tip-off. An external spy agency may have passed coordinates directly to Israel, revealing exactly where and when Nasrallah would arrive. That single piece of information could have allowed Israel to concentrate its firepower with absolute confidence. The Mossad's mark. Alternatively, a Mossad agent might have been on the ground, using a laser designator to paint the target. The beam, invisible to the human eye, would guide Israeli bombs from above, ensuring they struck the precise spot even if buried under concrete. The long game. Perhaps the most likely scenario, Israel spent 5 years hacking Hezbollah's communications, quietly collecting data, waiting for the perfect moment. When they intercepted confirmation that Nasrallah had arrived, the order was given and the strike unfolded. Whichever the case, the outcome was brutal. Israeli jets dropped nearly 80 bombs of multiple types, including semi-bunker busters capable of drilling through 6 floors of reinforced concrete before detonating. The entire building complex collapsed, erasing everyone inside. Engineering destruction. The weapons used were not chosen at random. Among them were the Mark 82 bomb, the GBU-39 glide weapon, and advanced bunker busters. The Mark 82 is a 500-pound bomb, deceptively simple in design, but devastating when modified with guidance kits. With the right fuses, it can detonate on impact or delay until it burrows deep into its target. Bunker busters are designed for fortifications. Their narrow shape and reinforced casing allow them to pierce through earth and concrete, sometimes traveling up to 100 feet underground before exploding. The GBU-39 glide bomb, on the other hand, represents precision engineering at its peak. Small, lightweight, and guided by GPS and laser, it can hit a target within a few feet from more than 70 kilometers away. Each bomb is a tool. Each strike is a carefully drawn equation: weight, speed, depth, timing. And when used in overwhelming numbers, dozens at a time, they can erase even the most fortified targets. How a bomb thinks. To understand these strikes, it helps to look inside the bomb itself. Take the GBU-39. At its front sits a laser sensor, capable of locking onto a target illuminated from the ground or sky. Behind it, adjustable fins shift in real time, making micro-corrections as the bomb falls. Inside, a small mission computer processes GPS data, keeping the bomb on course even if weather, smoke, or jamming attempts interfere. At the rear, retractable wings unfold after release, turning the bomb from a simple drop weapon into a guided glider. Think of it like a skydiver steering with their arms and legs. By shifting its surfaces in the air, the bomb changes direction mid-flight, ensuring it doesn't drift off course. Turning dumb iron into smart death. The genius lies in kits that convert ordinary dumb bombs into precision weapons. The JDAM Joint Direct Attack Munition Kit is one of the most famous examples. For only a few $1,000s, a conventional freefall bomb can be outfitted with GPS and control fins, transforming it into a surgical weapon capable of hitting within meters of its target. Israel has not only acquired these kits, but also improved on them, developing variants with extended range and anti-jamming features. With wings added, these bombs can triple their reach, turning a local strike into a regional threat. The political chessboard. Every strike carries not just military weight, but diplomatic consequences. Doha is a good example. By targeting Palestinian figures inside Qatar, Israel risked angering a nation that balances relationships with both the West and regional powers. Yet Israel calculated that the payoff outweighed the risk. Lebanon, too, has felt the weight of this strategy. Every strike against Hezbollah sends a message. Nowhere is safe. Leadership bunkers, fortified compounds, even underground tunnels, none are beyond Israel's reach when intelligence and engineering align. Precision versus collateral. Of course, there's a darker side. Precision doesn't always mean clean. The Beirut strike, for example, resulted in significant civilian casualties. When 80 bombs fall on a neighborhood, no amount of guidance can prevent homes, families, and lives from being erased. This is the paradox of modern warfare. Weapons are smarter, more precise, and more targeted than ever before. The human cost remains immense. For every high-value target eliminated, civilians pay the price. A pattern emerges. From Beirut to Doha, a playbook of precision emerges. Identify the target with painstaking intelligence. Confirm through surveillance or human sources. Select the weapons to match the environment's stealth jets for denial. Bunker busters for underground. Glide bombs for range. Strike with overwhelming force, minimizing exposure time. Exit swiftly, often before the world even realizes what happened. This cycle has repeated across the Middle East, cementing Israel's reputation for daring long-range operations. The future of shadow wars. Looking ahead, the evolution of these tactics suggests even more daring missions to come. With drones, hypersonic weapons, and cyber warfare joining the arsenal. The battlefield stretches beyond physical borders. The Doha strike may not be the last time Israel projects power far from Hamid, maybe a glimpse into a future where no city is truly safe from precision attacks. The strike in Doha was not an isolated act, it was part of a larger tradition, a doctrine built on intelligence, dominance, technological superiority, and the willingness to act where others hesitate. From the bunkers of Beirut to the higher rises of Qatar, what began as a question, how did Israeli jets reach Qatar, ends with a chilling certainty. They can, they have, and they will again.